Dogs and cats living together. That's hysteria. Wow! Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Lucid Nightmare. I'm your host as always, Jay Schatzer. And today I've got a fantastic atmospheric late 70s horror flick lined up for us. It is Don Coscarelli's 1979 classic horror film. It is Phantasm. And if you haven't seen this dreamlike one, you're in for a treat. So without further ado, here is Phantasm. Phantasm is a fantastic and nightmarish dreamscape of a film, featuring an outstanding atmosphere of creepy visuals and haunting moments. Culled from the sick and twisted mind of director Don Coscarelli, this hellish landscape of death, dementia, and fragmented realities is a unique yet obscure addition to the horror genre. Ultimately cult classic established and abundantly surreal, Phantasm is one truly odd spectacle, proving that even the most strangest of films can be tremendously eerie. The film follows a young teenage boy named Mike, as he is dealing with the recent loss of his parents. With only the support of his older brother Jody and a family friend Reggie, Mike unexpectedly comes to the realization that the local funeral parlor is anything but normal. Owned and operated by an unsavory caretaker only known as the Tall Man, Mike witnesses an abundance of oddities that genuinely can't be explained. From flying death spheres to midget-sized monsters, not to mention the uncanny strength that the Tall Man possesses, Mike begins to think that his life and the life of his remaining family unit is in danger and sets out to stop the Tall Man from laying out his insidious plans. A. Michael Baldwin takes on the role of Mike, the curious youth who stumbles onto more than he bargained for when investigating the local funeral parlor. Baldwin's unusual appearance and keen acting sense makes him a perfect fixture in the film. With all the strangeness going on within this production, Baldwin needed to keep up to snuff with the obscure nature of all that is going on around him, and in that aspect he does a bang-up job. Rather memorable and extremely peculiar, Michael Baldwin brings on the essential weirdness that expertly permeates from this entirely outstanding flick. Taking on the role of Big Brother is Bill Thornbury as Jody, the cool rogue rebel of the story who helps Mike take on the Tall Man and all his imposing glory. Thornbury brings a huge amount of charisma to the role, and the film often relies on him to push the story along as he is more of the action catalyst of the piece. The same can be said for Reggie Bannister's character, conveniently named Reggie. The ice cream salesman knocks his role out of the park, admirably stepping up to the plate and creating a character that eventually will come to define the long-standing series. Total badass and one hell of an enjoyable team, both Bill Thornbury and Reggie Bannister bring the pain in rounding out this Three Musketeer team of heroes. Of course, the true standout of the Phantasm series would have to be the Tall Man, played by the totally iconic and legendary cult actor Angus Scrimm. Thoroughly imposing and vividly represented on the screen, Scrimm makes the role of the Tall Man his own, staking claim for the character for years to come. His booming voice and overall commanding presence is a pure necessity in bringing all of these otherworldly elements together, and he does it in accessible, creepy style. If you haven't guessed it yet, Phantasm is a bit of an oddity when it comes to the horror genre. It deals with so many incredible, unbelievable concepts and out-of-this-world elements that you'd be hard-pressed in guessing how everything holds together. Surprisingly, director Don Coscarelli wrangles everything into a perfectly demented package as he fully establishes a cinematic world where anything can happen, and most certainly does. The film lore that he cultivates for Phantasm is consummated beautifully, boasting a surreal palette that truly delves into demented brilliance. Alternate realities, wicked dreamscapes, nightmarish realms, and everything in between is on display, and the way that Coscarelli plays with time, or the lack thereof, is actually quite impressive and respectfully jarring. He even makes time for his morbid precursors to come to light, with a virile amount of ghastly moments and blood-spurring deaths thanks to the invention of the silver spheres of death that frequent the film. All in all, Coscarelli has created a fresh and unique horror world that sincerely frightens to no end. Phantasm is a wild amalgam of realm-bending madness, served on a horror-melded platter of greatness. Unquestionably dreamlike and substantially robust in its dread, this is one chiller feature that rightfully retains its cult classic status. Michael Baldwin, Bill Thornbury, and Reggie Bannister all do a marvelous job in living in the enigmatic world of the film, and their performances are all top-notch in displaying the overall unsettling notion of being lost in a nightmare with nowhere else to turn. Downright unforgettable and unbelievably unsettling, Phantasm is a true diamond in the rough. If you like your horror movies weird and completely unruly, then see this as soon as possible. Phantasm is fear porn for horror fantasy lovers. And guys, that is the cult classic film, Phantasm. Just a beautifully surreal one, and it's just crazy in its weirdness. So check that one out if you haven't already. But that's it for me today. Hope you enjoyed that one, and I hope you like what I'm doing here. If you do, please like and subscribe. And if you have time, leave a comment below because I'd love to hear from you. But until then, guys, I will see you at the next movie review. Take care.